Welcome to Testing Positive. Don't be put off by the title that we threw on this. Testing Positive is what we are to do when we come through trials and when we come through tribulations in our life, what it means to come through on the other side with something positive to hold on to. And I think that the perspective that God gives us in the middle of the trials that we're experiencing is uniquely reserved for those in the faith. And so we have to look at what God tells us we can look forward to when we're going through a trial. Now today, I'm just going to be very, very blunt. I'm going to go and turn my Pastor Mike button on a little bit. What I'm about to share with a lot of you that are watching this, you might not care about this. But if you are watching this, I'm going to tell you that what I'm going to share with you in the next couple moments is the most wonderful benefit of coming through a trial. And I tell you this kind of gently that you might not care about it because this is like at an upper level when you're truly thinking just of the fact that you have been placed on this earth to glorify and honor God. Coming through a trial gives you an opportunity that nothing else in this world will give you. So let's take a look at 1 Peter chapter 4 to get a little insight, and then I'm going to tell you what the benefit is. He says, "Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you." Now, we've been talking about testing, but he says, don't be surprised. One of the things that shocks me as a pastor is when I talk to Christians and they're like, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that we went to do this thing and it's like something came upon it and it got sabotaged. Or I can't believe in this relationship and we're both godly and then we're being tempted in this way we didn't think. I always stop and say, are you really surprised though? Like, are you surprised? Like, I'll kind of go on a rabbit trail for a moment. When we do something big at the church, like in 2019, Pastor Jason organized our first ever worship night, and there was a really big reason. Pastor Mike had been really, really sick, and he was struggling with, we didn't know if he was going to live, to be honest, and we were praying, and nobody really knew an answer, and we anointed him with oil. The elders prayed over him, and so Jason said on the day after New Year's Day, we were going to have a concert, and we're going to have the whole church pray. Okay, so we have basically a worship concert here every weekend with the band, okay? So they have technical things that they do week in and week out, and it all goes seamlessly for the most part. We have one concert, we start the worship set, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose technologically. The computer stopped working, there was glitches with the screen, the musicians couldn't hear themselves, and I remember sitting there thinking as this stuff was going on, and it went well, it was amazing, an amazing event, probably one of the most amazing events we ever did, but at the end of the night, I remember sitting there thinking, did you expect any less? I mean, did you honestly expect that there wasn't going to be some sort of a bad thing that happened when you're trying to do something so good and so important? That's your Christian life. Don't ever be surprised that you're going through something bad. Don't ever go, why is this happening to me? No. You're a Christian. He says, don't be alarmed that a fiery trial is going to come upon you. Jesus said in John 16, verse 33, that, in this world you're going to face trouble, but behold, I have overcome the world. So you get peace, but you don't get to pass through the tribulation without being scathed. So it says, when it comes upon you, he says something strange will happen to you, so stop being surprised by it. But he says, rejoice insofar as you share Christ's sufferings. This is the vital part of what we're talking about here today. That you may also rejoice and be glad when his glory is revealed. Okay, let me tell you a bring down the house thing that you get coming through a trial where your faith suffers, where maybe your body suffers, where you're emotionally broken. What you get out of that is Christ likeness. Now, I said a lot of you aren't going to care about this because we want to hear from the Bible about am I going to be stronger? I mean, am I going to be smarter? Am I going to have knowledge about how not to do these things again? Well, sure. You're going to have a lot of that. But the apex of that is that you get to identify more with Jesus when you suffer. And if you can understand that and catch a glimpse of what that means that you are being permitted to walk a road of suffering. commensurate to what Jesus experienced. Now, we can never understand the horrors of what Jesus had take place on Calvary's Hill. We don't understand that. Jesus has removed us from the ability to really experience that. But when we suffer in our lives, even in the minute degree that we might look at that as it compares to Calvary, that suffering allows us to identify with Jesus. And I don't know about you, but anytime when there's anything in my messed up life, messed up by my choosing, anytime that there's an opportunity for me to say, I was like Jesus there for just that minute, like I followed him like he would have in this situation, and I experienced something unjust or something painful or something that was demonic that came into my life. When I get to say that I'm like Christ, that's an awesome thing. So don't lose sight of it, that when you're tested in your faith, one of the things that happens to you is you grow more and more like Jesus, and you're identifying with his suffering because he's walking with you as you experience your own.